Please return to your seats. Well, our invocation person isn't. Welcome back and thank you for your patience. I will call the regular meeting of the Cathedral City Council to order. Today is Wednesday, May 27th, 2026. And we have someone scheduled for the invocation. There she is. All right. So if you would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance from Mayor Pro Tem Gutierrez and remain standing for the invocation from Councilmember Ross.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Let us pause together for a brief moment of reflection as we open tonight's meeting. We gather here as neighbors, advocates, and public servants, bound by a shared devotion to Cathedral City. Look out at our striking desert. We have a beautiful panorama of majestic mountains that cradle our valley. We are immediately reminded of our duty to protect our shared environment and to guide our city's growth with sustainability. One true strength lies in our extraordinary diversity. We must ensure that our city remains a place where every voice is valued. We strive to make this a community where everyone can afford a place to call home, raise a family in safety, and thrive at every stage of life. As we approach tonight's agenda, let us commit to the principles of empathy, compromise, and constructive collaboration. I ask my colleagues on the council and our city staff to deliberate with clear minds and open hearts. Let us actively listen to differing perspectives. May we make objective choices that champion equity, transparency, and opportunity for every resident. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. All right, we'll continue on with roll call.
Councilmember Gordon?
Here.
Councilmember Ross?
Here.
Councilmember Lamb?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gutierrez?
Here?
Mayor Gregory?
Here. All right. The next item on our agenda is agenda finalization. I believe we do have some movement of items on the agenda. Mr. City Manager, would you like to start?
Yes, Mayor. So I would like to ask to pull items L and M off the consent calendar for the purpose of clarifying the fiscal impact on those two items. And then as well, I would like to ask to reorder the legislative actions to move C and D up to the top of the legislative calendar.
Thank you. And then just a reminder, we will be hearing the item from the study session, the recap at the end of our legislative calendar. Are there any other changes or adjustments to the agenda? All right. Seeing none, we'll move forward to public comments. This is the part of our meeting where you are welcome to come and make public comments on items that are not on the agenda. Just a reminder that public comments are limited to 3 minutes, and we do ask to maintain decorum and no cheering, jeering, clapping, or anything else during public comments. Thank you. I see we have some speaker cards, so I'll go ahead and call the first. The first is Seth Burke. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Seth Burke. and I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight regarding Cathedral City's opportunity to modernize its existing cannabis lounge regulations through adoption of an ordinance aligned with California's AB 1775. Cathedral City has already shown leadership by allowing licensed cannabis lounges. The issue before us is not whether lounges should exist, as they already do, but whether these businesses should be allowed to evolve into safe, vibrant hospitality spaces that can better serve residents, visitors, and the local economy. AB 1775 gives cities the option to allow licensed lounges to offer prepared food, beverages, and ticketed entertainment and events. This creates opportunities for live music, comedy nights, art shows, educational events, community gatherings, and other curated experiences that encourage visitors to stay longer and spend more money locally. Right now, many of these businesses are limited in ways that make it difficult to create a sustainable entertainment and hospitality model. Allowing prepared foods and beverages would not only improve the customer experience, but it also help support longer visits, responsible consumption, and additional local jobs. This is also an economic development opportunity for Cathedral City. Visitors today are looking for experiences, not just retail transactions. Cities that embrace entertainment, dining, and cultural programming attract tourism, increase tax revenue, and support surrounding businesses, including hotels, restaurants, ride-share services, and local shops. Importantly, these activities would still occur in licensed, regulated, professionally operated establishments that are already subject to security requirements, ventilation standards, and city oversight. The city would maintain full control through permitting, operating conditions, and enforcement authority. Neighboring cities are already moving toward more modern hospitality-focused cannabis regulations. Cathedral City has an opportunity to remain competitive while supporting responsible local businesses that want to invest in high-quality experiences for both residents and tourists. I respectfully encourage the council to study and adopt an ordinance that opts into AB 1775 and allows licensed lounges to host ticketed events and offer prepared food and beverages in regulated and responsible manner. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you so much for your comments. And just so that you're aware, the council has directed the city manager to bring an item, just as you were speaking about, to the council in the future. I don't think it's been calendared yet.
I don't have an exact date yet.
All right,
but we are
so
working on it.
please watch our future agendas or be in contact with,
Okay.
with city management. Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, our next speaker is Janet Ream.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm still here, unfortunately. We still have an issue. Doesn't matter what they've done or what they're doing. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you never know when, where, or how long you're going to smell it, at least on Ramon with C4. But you go down to Perez most any time, and it's still smelling very, very badly. I saw an NBC report where Mr. Hunt made the comment that just irritated me to death, to say that it's an inconvenient smell. No, it's an atrocious smell that nobody should have to put up with for this long a time. Am I opposed to cannabis businesses? No. I am opposed to them infringing on my right to have a good evening or a good day or enjoy my space. I received a phone call because the last time I was here, I asked about the second building for C4. I received a phone call from Talon, and he indicated to me that they still have that city permit. They have a punch list of things that they must accomplish before they would be given the green light to go ahead and start that building. And I said, are we talking, how long, what are we talking about, a punch list? He couldn't and did not go into all the details. He did tell me a couple of things that they have to accomplish. I cannot believe the city would allow such an operation as big as C4 is now to go ahead and expand another 200,000+ square feet right in my backyard, when they cannot and have not accomplished the smell that they've been putting out for over 2.5 years. I am asking, I'm begging the city to take into consideration that yes, it is a viable income for the city, but at what expense? If you're going to allow cannabis businesses. The growing is one thing. The cultivating and the manufacturing is another. And doing it right in our neighborhoods is not fair to anybody. I don't care how close you live. I'm asking that the city really consider not allowing that second building to even be considered to be built. I will probably be back. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Are there entered speaker cards?
I have no more, Mayor.
All right, is there anyone in the audience who wants to speak on an item not on the agenda? All right, seeing none, I will go on with the agenda. The next item is council reports. Councilmember Gordon.
Thank you. It was a great 2 weeks. Awards season in the desert continued. And I had the privilege of attending a number of celebrations. The first being the Harvey Milk Breakfast, which was a wonderful recognition of GSAs in the desert, their staff, their students, the excellence that and inclusion that they promote. Just a wonderful privilege to be able to attend that. I attended 2 ribbon cuttings, one at the Circle K across the street, which was very festive and had a red carpet. And they just really leaned into the ribbon cutting, which was a lot of fun, as well as the Kim Key seafood ribbon cutting on Date Palm, another restaurant in our city. Very excited. I went there for dinner later that same day, and I can report that it was excellent. Additionally, I attended the Do the Right Thing awards event where $95,000 worth of scholarships were given out to young people in our valley, which was a really phenomenal celebration. The stories that were told about the young people and their accomplishments were enough to sustain a person for months. Just really, truly beautiful stories of persistence and grit and scholarship and accomplishment. Councilmember Ross was there as well, and we were able to present an award to a student from Cathedral City, so that was really exciting. Additionally, let's see what else. I met with the staff at Chalk in advance of our meeting today, just to get some background. I was invited to come and talk to them. That was exciting. I met with Scott Burke to talk about AB 1775 and cannabis cafes with folks from code enforcement. I think it was a really productive and interesting meeting. I was invited to take a tour of Sunnylands, which was a real treat, and I appreciated that a great deal. Then on Memorial Day, I had the privilege and honor of speaking at the AMVETS Post 66 Veterans for Peace Memorial Day event at Desert Memorial Park. That was also very reverent and inspiring, and I was just privileged and honored to be part of that event. And then yesterday morning, the city council and mayor participated in the street sign unveilings for 2 high school students in our city who had made some pretty phenomenal achievements, and those street signs will stay up for the year. So honk and wave when you drive by. And I think that is everything that I have this time. I'm sure I forgot something, but.
All right, thank you very much. It's always a busy time, even though it's just been 2 weeks. Next up is Councilmember Ross.
Thank you so much, Mayor. On the 13th, we saw each other as we were preparing for the State of the City, and a big, big thank you, as I look out to you, to the staff. It was a sensation. But the largest thanks goes to Ryan Hunt. I don't think he's in the room anymore, but he did so much to prepare for that. Really, he juggled so many people, tables, vendors, dozens of dignitaries from other cities, and of course, his own city council. Sometimes we can be a little skitsy too. It was a huge success. Big thank you goes, of course, to our mayor, who was our MC for the afternoon and did a really great job. On the 14th, I represented you on the Energy and Environment Commission, which is one of my 8 assigned commissions, but I also represented Supervisor Perez on the Sustainability Commission as well. On the 15th, I met with a constituent at Rio del Sol regarding property lines. On the 19th, I met with leadership and discussed a variety of issues, including our upcoming search for the Cathedral City Community Center property, which was promised to the residents of Cathedral City as part of ballot measure W, which was passed, and I'm always so proud and pleased when I say it was passed by 74%. On the 20th, the mayor and I sorted through many nonprofits that we want to support with all the funding they want every year, but it doesn't work quite like that. So it was challenging, but also rewarding to see so many agencies who want to uplift our city and their businesses. That afternoon, I represented our city along with Councilmember Gordon at Do the Right Thing. She mentioned that. And that was, they do it every month. The kids get at least $700 each for doing the right thing and being honored at the ceremony. And it's just amazing the work they do. Terry who is the go-getter there. She does a lot. I also was at the Kim Key Shrimp and Seafood. I did not go to dinner that night, so I guess we cut apart at that point. I do wish them well, as do we. All the businesses are opening in Cathedral City and throughout our valley. And last but not least, yesterday was the street naming. We put the signs up for Matthew Bustamante, who represents San Jacinto High School, and David Delgado Naranjo, who represents Cathedral City High School. David, has a 4.8. I would have given anything for just a 4.0. I think that's just great, and I'm so proud he's going on to a full scholarship to go to school in, was it Berkeley? Yeah, at Berkeley. Wow, that was great. I think my parents paid for me to go to college. And then I met this afternoon with some constituents to discuss the future of non-claimed animals in the Coachella Valley and how best to serve them moving forward. We have great animal services. We have a division in Thousand Palms, in San Jacinto and Blythe, where your tax dollars really are supporting the agencies. I'm their board chair, and I'm proud to do the work we do. Thanks for all of your support. I spent Memorial Day with my husband, Bob, and my sister and sister-in-law, Donna and Judy. They live in La Quinta. And if it not for them, the move here for us, coming to visit and falling in love with the Valley, we would not be here today. I'm glad we came. Back to you, Mayor.
All right, thank you so much. Next up is Councilmember Lamb.
Great, thank you so much. I too participated in the ribbon cutting at the Circle K, and I wanted to just comment as a Cove resident, the Cathedral Cove stretch has just turned into this wonderful gathering spot, because as we go there, we find all sorts of people that are moseying down the hill from the Cove to eat dinner at Chipotle or grab a Starbucks, or so it's really turned into be a wonderful resource. And I just wanted to comment that from somebody who uses it frequently, because I don't cook, so it's great. I did attend along with Mayor Gregory the 25th anniversary of the Mary Pickford Theater. And, you know, it started out as another theater in the desert, and it's turned into really, and I use this word often now when I speak of Cathedral City, really a destination place, because not only is it part of the International Film Festival, and regularly wonderful movies that are shown there, and a wonderful site, but it is the host to so many of our community activities. And our PACE Commissioner, Antonio Beishu, sitting in the audience, and he just contacted me again because they're having another free movies for kids during the summer. They also collaborate with Read With Me. They have volunteers and give books to the children. So it really is just a wonderful resource that I have come to revere, and I'm so glad that they had this great showing for the 25th anniversary, and cake and all sorts of festivities, so it was really nice. I too attended the street sign, the street toppers, and talked to the students, and I, as a former school principal, I just wanted to recognize the 4 principals who are principal schools in Cathedral City, because they do such wonderful work. In Mount San Jacinto at Sue Drummond, there are 310 students that attend Mount San Jacinto. Julia Bartesh is the principal at Cathedral City High School. There are 1,267 students that attend that school. Nellie Kaufman Middle School, Melissa Galatad, they have 928, and she was recognized last year as Principal of the Year for all of Riverside County. And Cathedral City Elementary School, Brenda Santana, and there's 641 young ones that go kindergarten through fifth grade in our Cathedral City Elementary School. And at our street topper, we had the opportunity to, and had a great introduction with Superintendent Marcus Funches from Palm Springs School District. So this really is community, and you can't, I think of all the things that we do in Cathedral City, there are so many wonderful things. I could go on, and Ryan could, he's got them in alphabetical order by, by height, I'm sure. But really recognizing the future of Cathedral City by having those sign toppers is the best. So, way to go. And I just wanted to comment about the Veterans Day. The Veterans Expo for the last few years has been at the Salvation Army Center on Landau, and it's going to be returning to the Riverside County Date Fairgrounds in 2027. But the attendees, it goes anywhere between 1,200 and 1,500 people. That regularly attend that. So we were lucky to have them here, and we'll be fortunate enough to have them in Indio in 2027. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. Next up is Mayor Pro Tem Gutierrez.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. This past weekend, we celebrated Memorial Day weekend. Let's not forget the brave men that paid the ultimate price for our freedom. Freedom is not free, and thanks to those brave men, our nation continues to thrive. The good thing about being the fourth person doing the report is that I'm not going to repeat everything that we did together. I would just mention the things that I did separately. One thing that I did attend, I attended a meeting with the Coachella Valley Association of Governments Commission Conservancy. Now, the commission approved the additional purchase of 15 acres in the Coachella Valley. And also, it signed an agreement, a cooperation agreement with the Mojave Desert Land Trust, which will coordinate efforts on State Route 62 Wildlife Crossing Bridge Planning Grant. This is a bridge that is being planned for wildlife to cross from one side to the other on Highway 62. There's been a lot of fatalities of wildlife in the past, and to reduce that, there's a plan in place that if a bridge is built, the wildlife will actually utilize that. And also for inbreeding and for species to thrive, there has to be a passageway. And there's a divider that prevents animals from crossing, if they make it alive, from crossing from one side to the other. So this bridge will be valuable if it ever gets approved. And by getting it ready, as it was mentioned earlier, having the project shovel ready, it will be available for grant funding whenever that becomes available there. And I also went to the Cathedral City Senior Center for their food bank on Monday, and not this past Monday, previous Monday, and just to say hello and talk to the volunteers there that do such a wonderful job. They all do this with this, they all smile, they do it with a happy face, and they're all just having a great time. And it's nice to see how coordinated they are, and the work that they do to help all those in need is unbelievable. You walk out of there with a different sense of how humans can do such great things for other people when they can't do it for themselves. So that was nice to see. And Mr. Mayor, everything else I don't have to repeat. My council members have done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, I'll try not to do the same. I'll just make quick mention of some of the same items. I did have the opportunity since our last meeting on May 13th, of course, to meet with staff, a number of residents, and even had some volunteer opportunities. I was with my colleagues at the Harvey Milk Breakfast, at the Circle K ribbon cutting, and the Kimchi Shrimp Seafood Boil ribbon cutting. Glad to have all of those businesses here in Cathedral City. And if you're not using some of the specials to buy the reduced price gas at Circle K right now. It's a good opportunity to try to beat a little bit of inflation. So I know I've become a regular buyer, you know. There are other discount gas places around, but none that pay sales tax into Cathedral City. So you might want to check that out over at the Circle K, and it's very convenient to City Hall. I'll just mention that. And then, of course, as already been mentioned, the street sign at Cathedral City High School, and before that, Mount San Jacinto High School was there with the staff. And at the Mary Pickford 25th anniversary, I just said, shout out to Ted Haynes for that. That was a nice event, and it was good that milestone for Mary Pickford Theater did not pass, that they made an event out of it. So, and I just want to, of course, point out, those of us that go know, but staff puts a lot of work into all of these appearances that we make too. So I want to make sure to thank, of course, communications and events staff, our economic development staff in particular, but we often also see public works, code enforcement, building at some of these that are involved and helping promote these events that are great celebrations for Cathedral City. One I didn't hear is I was able to attend a dinner with Patsy. I was on the 20th at Bubba's Bones and Brews, benefiting the senior centers. Always a privilege to watch for those, make sure everyone watches for the monthly dinner with Patsy. She's always helping out a local restaurant, but most importantly, passing that red hat to collect donations for a local charity. I also was honored to be able to attend the Cathedral City High School's Scholarship Awards tonight and present the Cathedral City's 2 scholarship awards, along with a lot of other organizations. It's great the organizations do what they can to try to make education affordable for people of all economic levels. And I did participate in a Riverside County Transportation Commission meeting, just one this time. It was actually an ad hoc projects and funding strategy meeting. So that will be moving forward to the official commission for recommendation. The conclusion after a number of surveys and again reviewing the needs is that that the commission will likely be taking a ballot position on at least removing the sunset from the existing Measure A, which is important for all of us, including the city, because 35% of the Measure A receipts come back directly to our local roads here in the city, as well as regional arterial roads, and also helps fund Sunlight Transportation. So it wouldn't be an increase, but they are looking at putting a ballot measure that would remove the sunset. Although the sunset is far out, these kind of things involve long-term planning, getting things shovel-ready, as we've talked about, and also the possibility of bonding against some of the projects so we can move them forward closely. You can't do that once the expiration date gets too close, so that's what the Transportation Commission is looking at. Just want to mention a few upcoming events. This Saturday at 9 o'clock, the fire department will have a badge pinning and an ambulance pushback, and that will be at
9.
I guess do we call it 412 or 2 now? Station 2, also formerly known as Station 412, where the fire administration is on Desert Vista. That'll be at 9 o'clock on Saturday. And then on Tuesday, June 2nd, we will be celebrating the beginning of Pride Month. We'll be doing a flag raising at 9 o'clock right here in front of City Hall. And then, of course, our next meeting will be Wednesday, June 10th. So with that, I will conclude my comments, and we'll move on with our agenda. The next item on our agenda is our consent agenda, and it has been modified so that L and M will be heard separately, but I'll ask the city clerk if she will please read the titles of the rest of the consent agenda.
Yes, Mayor. Item 3A is to waive full reading of ordinances on the agenda. Item 3B is the Commissioner Committee member attendance record. Item 3C is approval of the May 13, 2026 study session and regular meeting minutes. Item 3D is the second reading to adopt ordinances for the change of zone 25-0001 and specific plan 25-001 for the Forest Lawn Cathedral City Specific Plan Project. Item 3E is the fiscal year 2026-2027 appropriation limit scan initiative limitation. Item 3F is a second reading to adopt an ordinance to amend Cathedral City Municipal Code Sections 8.24.010, 8.24.020, and 8.24.070. Item 3G is to adopt a resolution accepting an offer of dedication for lots B and C in Tract 24515 for public street purposes and lots H and J in Tract 24515 for drainage and floodway purposes. Item 3H is to adopt a resolution accepting public improvements and certifying completion of private improvements in parcel map 37867, PUD 21-001, Cathedral Cove. And item 3I is approval of corrected resolution to similarly vacate unused 5-foot wide public utility easements, PUEs, on lots 66 and 67, and a portion of lot 68 of Desert Retreat Estates, and on lots 56 and 57 of Cathy Estates, located north of Dinah Shore Drive between Cathedral Canyon Drive and Whispering Wells Trail, and rescinding incorrect resolution 2026-1. Item 3J is the second reading to adopt an ordinance to add Chapter 11.21 to Title 11 of the Cathedral City Municipal Code to prohibit and regulate fireworks within the city and adopt resolution to amend the schedule of fines for administrative citations. Item 3K is the approval of the Parks and Community Events Commission support for the Panorama Dog Park Halloween Dog Costume Event 2026 and the Esperanza Dog Park Feliz Navidad Event 2026.
Thank you so much. Council, any questions or comments? Seeing none, are there any public speakers?
I do not have any, Mayor.
All right, is anyone in the agenda that wants to speak on any of the consent items that were read? Seeing none, return it back to the council for a vote or further discussion.
I move to approve the agenda as modified.
Second?
I have a motion and a second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Lamb and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Gutierrez. We'll go ahead and do a roll call on this. Councilmember Gordon?
Yes.
Councilmember Ross?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Gutierrez?
Yes.
Mayor Gregory?
Yes.
Motion carries, all ayes.
All right, the next item on our agenda, and I don't know if we might be able to hear these directly. I don't think we're going to hear a full presentation unless the council wants to, but our item 3L and 3M, which are events that are to occur from PACE, the public parks and community events, budgets, but they're to occur over the summer. And I know we're looking at the fiscal impact because the recommendation was to fund one out of one fiscal year and one out of the other, but each of them occur over 2 fiscal years. So were you going to address that?
Yes, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, fellow council members. As you stated, Mayor, this is for the first item, which is item L from the consent, is to approve allocation 1,100 from fiscal year 26-27 Parks and Community Events Commission PACE small events. This is just for the people out there in the public, the free movies that PACE sponsors. They do get sponsorships to offset the cost. So out of the 2,000 total for the program costs, there is 1,000 or it's 2,200. There's total sponsorship of 1,000, and PACE is requesting 2,100 in support out of their small parks and community events budget. As in the staff report, we do have it as coming out of the 26-27 budget, because traditionally we don't do a pay-go on each event. We get a bill from TED at the end of the season where we pay the bill in its entirety. If we wanted to divide it, we do have ample, or I shouldn't say ample, we do have budget remaining in this fiscal year for the 3 events that'll occur. And those 3 events will cost $412.50 if we wanted to get 2 separate bills from the theater and then pay the remaining $687.50 on the back end at the end of the season.
So might I suggest for the motion, which is usually for the staff recommendation, we just strike the words the fiscal year 2026-2027 so that it reads, approve the allocation of $1,100 from, you can put the Parks and Community Events Commission small events budget to support the free movies for kids at the Mary Pickford Theater. That way, we're not specifying it's coming from one fiscal year. And that way, if there's an issue with it occurring over more than one fiscal year or a partial payment is needed, there's not an issue.
That's an excellent recommendation, and staff will support that.
You might want to get rid of the title then, the 26 is in the title as well.
Well, I'm not proposing we go through and redline the entire presentation because it's listed
mind.
in other places in the presentation. I'm just recommending that if council would like to do so, that when we make the motion, we strike out the actual fiscal year number. All right? And we could, thank you. Did you want to discuss the next item also? Or,
I can.
Or a recommendation to do the same on the next item?
I can. Well, there's a little nuance in this, and the
All right.
staff report is correct on how we're approaching it. So on item M, which is the Paint with Pace series, which there's one event that occurs in June, and then there's a subsequent event July 20th and August 17th, if people want to mark that calendar date on their plan for their kids to attend the Paint with Pace. The method to this madness is they're going to buy all the materials in June, and we had ample enough budget in this fiscal year, 25-26. So as it's written in the report, it's pretty accurate. They weren't looking to purchase any materials subsequently to this fiscal year. But
All right, so
if we want to
is that
spread it
normal?
out,
We would pay for materials that were going to be used in the next fiscal year?
well, they're going to be reused. It's similar to yoga. We bought mats at the initial onset, and we keep continuing and using them. So this would be the same. And they did gauge any of the perishable materials that they would be able to, the amount that would be used with the amount of attendance they're anticipating. And obviously, if there's any left over, then it would continue, because they're looking to make this series a continuum.
All right, but again, wouldn't it be cleaner just to strike in the recommendation, which would be the motion, just to strike the fiscal year 25-26 part out? So it would be approve the allocation of $1,200 from the Parks and Community Events Commission small events budget to support the Paint with Pace event services at the Cathedral City
We
Library.
appreciate you making it a little easier to go across the years here. So yes,
Yeah.
that's a great suggestion. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, any questions or concerns from council? I think that the events are pretty straightforward and my guess would be supported. Are there any public comments on these two items?
I did not receive any, Mayor.
All right. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to speak on these two items? All right, we'll turn it back to council, and I'll make the motion to approve item 3L and 3M with the amendments as we have shared to strike out the actual fiscal years.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mayor Gregory and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Gutierrez. We'll do a roll call on this. Councilmember Gordon?
Yes.
Councilmember Ross? Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Gutierrez?
Yes.
Mayor Gregory?
Yes.
Motion carries all ayes. And Mayor, now that we have completed the consent agenda, I would like to read the titles of the ordinances.
Yes, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Cathedral City, California, adopting change of zone 25-0001 to rezone approximately 10 acres located on the southwest corner of Ramon Road and Duval Drive from planned community commercial to neighborhood business park. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Cathedral City, California, adopting specific plan 25-0001, establishing the Forest Lawn Cathedral City specific plan. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Cathedral City, California, amending Chapter 8.24 of the Cathedral City Municipal Code relating to flood plan management and stormwater storage facilities. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Cathedral City, California, adding Chapter 11.21 to Title 11 of the Cathedral City Municipal Code to prohibit and regulate fireworks within the city. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much. All right, we're going to move on now. Since we have no public hearings to our legislative calendar, we will be taking some of these items out of order. The next item up will be item 5C, installation of sign topper honoring former city council member Sarah DeGrande. All right, city manager.
Thank you, Mayor.
She's ready.
So Deanna Presgrove is here this evening to present both this item and the next item on the agenda. Once we have the presentation loaded, Deanna, take it away.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, council members. I'm Deanna Presgrove, your Environmental Conservation and Public Works Manager. And is it?
Okay, it's okay.
It's good? I moved the page. It's not moving on the screen. Is it moving? See?
Let's close it and reopen.
Uh-oh. Doesn't want to cooperate, does it?
Mayor, are you able to see the different slides on your screen, or is it just what you're seeing on the board?
Same, right there.
Needs to be in presentation mode.
It's not it. There's this. Mayor, I do need to take maybe a brief recess just to see why it's not connecting.
All right, technology is great when it works, and when it doesn't work, we'll have to take a 5-minute recess. Back at 6:29. Waiting till 6:29. People. All right. Apologies for the delay and reminder, we are on item 5C, installation of sign topper honoring former city council member Sarah DeGrande. And it's to you, Deanna.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Deanna Pressgrove, your Environmental Conservation and Public Works Manager. And tonight I'm going to talk about, first of all, I'll give you a little background on street sign blade toppers. Street sign toppers are placed above city-maintained street name blades installed within the public right-of-way, as you see in the picture here. Street sign toppers do not change the name of the street. The information on a topper may designate a special place, street, neighborhood, district, subdivision, or recognize a person or achievement. Our existing sign toppers, here's a list throughout the city, and the names of the sign toppers are on the left and locations are on the right. The process for a sign topper, to submit an application for a sign topper, applications must be submitted by individuals, businesses, or community groups. Applicants must identify the street, neighborhood, or district boundaries, conduct community outreach to demonstrate support, provide a map showing proposed topper locations, and proposed names must be unique and meaningful, reflect the history, identity, or character of the area, be clear and recognizable to the community. The review process, the applications are submitted to the Public Works Department. That's reviewed by Public Works, the Traffic Division, and the City Manager. They're ultimately approved by the City Council, which is what we're here tonight to do. So the first one that we're going to talk about tonight is an application requesting the installation of a street sign topper honoring former City Council member Sarah DeGrande. Was submitted by Darla DeGrande. The application was submitted in coordination with Cathedral. Sarah DeGrande was one of Cathedral City's foundational civic leaders whose dedication helped shape the community during its formative years. After relocating to Cathedral City in 1957, Sarah became deeply involved in the community and was elected to City Council in 1986, just 5 years after Cathedral City's incorporation. Sarah served from 1986 to 2000, including service as Mayor Pro Tem. Throughout her tenure, she played an important role in shaping the city's early civic identity, community services, and public facilities. Key contribution, Sarah was part of the establishment of the Cathedral City Senior Center, the opening of the Cathedral City Library, the development of the Boys and Girls Club, and the strengthening of the police and fire services. Her community leadership in Rotary International, House of Hope, Cathedral City Chamber of Commerce, CVAG, and United Way. The proposed location for the street side topper, there's one for this proposal, is located in the intersection within the city's town square area and is surrounded by civic and commercial uses, including City Hall, the Mary Pickford Theater, and the adjacent commercial complex. Sarah was instrumental in the development of Cathedral City's downtown core, and the proposed location is symbolically appropriate site given her leadership in advancing the area. And you'll see the sign here in the picture. It would go right above that existing sign where it says Pickford Street. Again, here's a map identifying the location for the community outreach. In this case, the City Council may determine it should be appropriate whether the proposed placement reflects the intent of the policy and the significance of Sarah's contributions. The total cost to manufacture and install one sign topper is $758. Although the work will be processed through the city's standard sign production procedures, all costs associated with the sign topper would be funded by Cathedral City business owner Richard Altman. For our strategic plan goal, this supports community identity and civic pride and recognizes individuals who contribute to Cathedral City. So staff's recommendation is to approve the installation of one sign topper honoring former City Council member Sarah DeGrande at the intersection of Buddy Rogers Avenue and Pickfair Street at a total cost of $758 to be funded by Richard Altman. And that concludes my presentation. I give it back to you, Mayor.
All right, thank you so much for that presentation. Anybody want to speak or have questions before public comments?
I do.
Would you push the button, please, so that I can
Sure.
put you in?
See.
There you are. I see Mayor Pro Tem Gutierrez in the queue.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Well, my comments are that I have never had the pleasure to meet Sarah DeGrande, but I've heard so much about her. She's right here with us.
I say she's in the audience. Hi, Sarah.
But I have heard so many wonderful things about her and how instrumental she was about what it was mentioned in the not founding, but actually incorporation of our city and the building of the police department, fire department, Boys and Girls Club, Senior Center, the Cathedral City Senior Center. So many wonderful things. She did this along with Ophelia Bringas. Those two names are pretty much similar to each other with all the great contributions they did for our city. So with me, it is a pleasure to actually, coming up, to vote and actually approve this because she is absolutely something wonderful that we should actually have even more than just a sign topper, something to really commemorate her in our city. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Ross.
Why Way?
Can you turn on your microphone, please?
Why is it Sarah DeGrande Way?
That goes,
Is that the same as what the sign before their ad was a way? Was it also a way?
yeah, if you look at the list, it's consistent with, when we use the names, we put way at the end of it. That's not.
Oh, all your names are Ways.
Yeah. So yeah, do you see it?
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to
Except
remember
Val-
Diane and Jane, but yeah,
Yeah,
they
Val
were.
was really a long time ago, so I'm not sure why we didn't do way on that one. But when there's a name, we've been putting way.
Okay, good answer, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, seeing nothing else from the dais at this time, we'll open it up to public comments. And I see we do have some speaker cards. I'll call the first is Sunshine Herrera.
Good evening once again, Mayor Gregory, Mayor Pro Tem Gutierrez, and council members. First, I want to congratulate Sarah DeGrande and her family for her decades of service to Cathedral City. It is very clear this recognition is well-deserved. I also want to thank Richard Altman and former council member Shelley Kaplan for helping make this recognition happen. However, I do believe tonight raises a larger concern regarding how Cathedral City preserves and honors its own history. The Public Art Commission has previously supported toppers and public recognition projects honoring local artists and cultural contributions. And I believe the city should consider creating a formal policy allowing the Historic Preservation Committee or another designated body to help fund, preserve, document, and recognize the individuals who helped shape Cathedral City's civic and political history as well. I do not believe longtime historical figures, former leaders, or their families should have to rely solely on the private residents paying out of pocket for these types of recognitions, especially after years of public service to this community. If the city truly values preserving its history, then preserving the stories and contributions of the people who helped build Cathedral City should also have a permanent place within that mission. We are a city that often says we value our history, yet we do not even have a permanent display in the foyer of these council chambers recognizing former mayors, former council members, or the years they served. Food for thought, our first mayor was a female. History is not just buildings. History is also the people who sacrificed their time, leadership, and vision to help shape the city for future generations. There is a saying, great is the person who plants a tree knowing they may never sit under its shade. I believe many of Cathedral City's early leaders, including Sarah DeGrande, planted those trees for the city we enjoy today. It also somewhat disheartening to know that although former council member Mark Carnevale had reportedly been working towards honoring Sarah prior to his passing, his fund did not ultimately help pay for this topper. Overall, I'm very happy to see the honors moving forward, and I believe it is very well deserved. Thank you to the council member, Shelley Kaplan, for picking up this mantle and getting it across the finish line. You have set the bar for every council member following you. I also want to thank Sarah and her family for the time she spent serving the city and for the support and sacrifices her family made to help grow our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Richard Altman.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman, there's so much I could say about Sarah since you only know me from my hotel. But before that, I owned Palm Springs Lanes. I built the Boys and Girls Club with Ophelia Brinkus and Sarah DeGrande. I worked with Sarah. She trained Greg Pettis. There's so much I could say about this wonderful woman and all the time we had at council meetings, that where Nancy sits, that's where Sarah sits. There's so many stories that could go on for 2 years on it, while we had fun as a council meeting and working with Sarah and Ophelia. When I was building the Boys and Girls Club, I needed a bank to give us mortgage to build it. Sarah got me the guy. I got the mortgage. I signed the note. I didn't ask the city for any money. Just joking. We had a great time. She's a wonderful woman. This honor should have been done years ago. Thank you. Any questions? I could give you a history on the whole story.
Thank you,
I mean, I could go on and on.
Thank you, Mr. Alderman. Well, you have another almost 2 minutes if you have more you want to add.
Almost 2 minutes? Okay. No, really, any questions about the past and what you have done?
Yeah, no, we don't do question and answers at public comments, but if you have more comments, you can give them.
Well, I don't know where to start because I could keep going on.
I know, she is
The
pretty
birthday parties
wonderful.
at the bowling alley and all that with Ophelia. On that, we had a lot of fun because at that time when we had a small council at Perez, they used to come back to the bowling alley at night afterwards council meeting. We had a great time. Solved a lot of problems. A lot of fun, except for some people. Have a great night. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Mr. Altman. All right, the next speaker is Shelley Kaplan. Welcome, Shelley.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. Needless to say, I brought these forward because I believe these two people are definitely in need of recognition for the city. I was somewhat surprised that none of you mentioned in your comments the fact that we're having an event Saturday morning, and it's the Stories of Cathedral City. Well, you have two people in this room at the moment who could provide you with hours of stories of Cathedral City and what went on in the past. And I think these two people definitely deserve to be recognized for all the work that they've done. And clearly, at some point, I'd like to hear all of Richard's stories as well. But fortunately, he didn't give a lot of them here because he would go on for hours if he was going to give them. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I don't see any other speaker cards. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll return it back to council for further discussion. I do want to say, Sarah, I know you from seeing you on the roster for Sunline, and they didn't even mention Sunline, but I know you spend years. I know you do, and I think there's even a bus stop. There you go. And I think there's even a bus stop over here on Date Palm that has your name on it too. So it's nice that you were honored then, and it's great that this honor has come forward here. I just want to say, because it's been mentioned, that when we did the sign policy or the sign topper policy, we kind of left it open, but the hope was that although the city council gets to review the applications and make the final decision, that it wouldn't be all the time that the city council would be bringing forward the applicants. So the cost was kept to be reasonable and the process was kept to be reasonable, but the hope was that citizens would come and say, I want to honor this person that's part of Cathedral City history. So I think that's what's happening today, and I think that's a great thing. Sometimes it's appropriate for a commission or the council to step in, but it's more meaningful, I think, when members of the public are saying, hey, this person is important to Cathedral City history, and I'm willing to step up, do the application, and take responsibility. So thank you, Richard, and thank you for Shelley for bringing this forward. All right. All right, Sarah, thank you so much. All right. Don't make me call you out of order, Sarah. All right, council, any other questions or discussion, or do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
I second.
We have a motion and a second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Gutierrez, and did I hear a second by Councilmember Gordon? Oh, Councilmember Ross? Okay, please vote. Councilmember Ross, do you have the option? Okay, if you'd like to verbalize your vote?
I'm a yes, an aye, for sure.
Motion carries, all ayes.
Can you imagine what the city council meetings were like when she was on the dais? They were a lot of fun.
All right.
They did, didn't they? Yep, I remember that.
All right, let's move on to the next item, item 2D, which is installation of a sign topper honoring Richard Altman.
All right, so again, I'm still Deanna Pressgrove, your Environmental Conservation Manager. And the next item before you tonight is a request to recognize Richard Altman through the city's Street Sign Topper Program. An application submitted by former Cathedral City Council member Shelley Kaplan requests the installation of a street sign topper honoring Richard Altman. Mr. Altman is widely recognized for his contributions to Cathedral City's economic development and for helping establish the community as a welcoming and inclusive destination. Mr. Altman is a well-known business leader and civic advocate in Cathedral City. As the owner of the CCBC Resort, Mr. Altman helped establish Cathedral City as a recognized and welcoming destination within the LGBTQ+ community. Key contribution, advanced tourism and economic development, helped establish Cathedral City as an inclusive destination, and instrumental in the development of the city's annual Pride event. Community leadership, as he mentioned previously, is a former president, Boys and Girls Club, of the Boys and Girls Club Board, and he led the facility improvements and organizational growth. Richard has been recognized by the Cathedral City Chamber of Commerce with a Lifetime Achievement Award, and the Richard G. and Ann K. Altman Craft Corner was named in his honor at the Cathedral City Senior Center. The proposed street topper location is proposed to be on Gay Resort Drive and Melrose Drive. The proposed topper location on Gay Resort Drive is appropriate given Mr. Altman's role in advancing Cathedral City's inclusive identity. The existing sign is actually located on CCBC's resort property. There are no other residential or business addresses that are located on Gay Resort Drive. The application satisfies the policy's intent regarding adjacent property owner and awareness and support. So you see the picture right there, the sign topper would go directly on top of that. The total cost to manufacture and install one sign topper is $758. And again, the work will be processed through the city's standard sign production procedures, but all costs associated with this sign topper will be funded by former council member Shelley Kaplan. And staff's recommendation is to approve the installation of one sign topper honoring Richard Altman at the intersection of Gay Resort Drive and Melrose Drive at a total cost of $758 to be funded by Shelley Kaplan. And that ends my presentation.
Thank you so much, Deanna, for the presentation, and thank you, whoever found those great photos in both of these presentations. It's nice to be able to look at those and reminisce or appreciate our history. All right, Council, any questions or comments before public comments? Mayor Pro Tem Gutierrez.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I just want to say thank you to Richard and Sarah for all that you have done for our city. After all these years, 40+ years, I hope that we as a council have made you proud. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else right now? Okay, we'll go ahead and go to public comments. I do see a speaker card, Sunshine Herrera.
Thank you once again, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. I want to congratulate Richard Altman on this recognition and thank former council member Shelley Kaplan for bringing this item forward. After reviewing the packet and letters submitted in support, it is clear that Richard Altman has had a lasting impact on Cathedral City through tourism, business investment, philanthropy, and advocacy for the LGBTQ community. For decades, Richard Altman's businesses have helped bring visitors, tourism revenue, and economic activity into Cathedral City. Since the 1980s, his contributions through local hospitality businesses and transit occupation tax revenue have played a meaningful role in support the city's economic and helping establish Cathedral City as a destination within the Coachella Valley. I also think it is important to recognize that local business owners who invest in Cathedral City year after year help create jobs, support local events, strengthen tourism, and contribute financially to the long-term growth of the community. One thing that stood out to me in the packet was the statement that this may be the first topper honoring a living recipient in the area, although I'm not entirely sure this is accurate, given that Cedra Grande is still living. Regardless, I do think it says something positive about the city's recognizing people while they still are here to experience the appreciation of the community they helped build. At the same time, I do think it is somewhat sad for a former council member to personally be paying for this recognition. While I know it is being done from a place of respect and appreciation, I believe Cathedral City as a whole should be becoming a city that gives honor where honor is due, finds meaningful ways to formally recognize the individuals who helped shape and contribute to the cities over the decades. Thank you, Mr. Altman and his son Eric and the Altman family for their many contributions to Cathedral City and its economy through their family businesses and long-standing investments in this city. Thank you.
Thank you. I see no other speaker cards. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on this item? Now return it back to council. Any further questions, comments? Are we ready for a motion?
Move to approve.
I second.
I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Gutierrez and a second by Councilmember Lamb. Please vote. And motion carries. All ayes.
Thank you so much. Thank you and congratulations to the new honorees. And again, thank you to those members of the community who took up their time and their funds to bring these forward. We're happy to be able to move them forward. All right, we're going to regress a little bit on our agenda and go back to the beginning of our legislative calendar. Next up is item 5A, the Downtown Safety Barrier Project. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'd like to invite Luis Perez to lead this presentation, and along with that, give a kudos to the Public Works Department. This is a follow-up to an April 22nd presentation from the Public Works Department, and they have, in quick order, produced this item, which will fulfill the first phase of our Downtown Safety Barrier Project. So with that introduction, Luis.
Thank you, City Manager. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council. My name is Luis Perez. I'm an analyst in the Environmental, Conservation, and Public Works Departments, and today I'll be presenting to you the Downtown Safety Barrier Project. So downtown safety and event operations as they are today. Downtown events have increased in size and attendance and frequency, requiring city staff to regularly close streets. Current operations utilize traffic control devices such as cones, barricades, and water-filled K-rails, which require significant staff time, resources for setup and removal during events, ultimately highlighting the need for improved efficiency and safety. Through the project development process, there was interdepartmental coordination and evaluation through on-site meetings with Public Works staff, the fire department, the police department, and special events staff. And on April 22nd, 2026, study session meeting, staff presented the traffic control options aimed at improving safety and efficiency, and City Council directed staff to pursue the purchase of mobile barriers. Why mobile barriers? It improves the event safety and increases efficiency during setup and removal. It reduces reliance on labor-intensive traffic control devices, as I previously mentioned, cones, barricades, and water-filled K-rails. And it can be deployed with fewer staff and in less time, allowing city resources to be utilized elsewhere. And as you can see on the photo on your bottom right, these are what the Meridian mobile barriers look like when they're fully deployed. You have the Meridian mobile barrier, the ramp, as well as the chains that link each one. For the locations, please reference the map that was distributed to each of you. Following City Council direction at the April 22nd, 2026 study session meeting, staff worked with Meridian to procure a quote reflecting a full build-out for locations 1 through 4. As you can see on the map, the locations are all listed. And locations 5 through 7 and additional safety improvements will be evaluated in the next budget cycle. The following items and cost table in the following slide reflect the full build-out associated with the deployment on locations 1 through 4. including all required accessories, support equipment, operational components necessary to fully and efficiently deploy the Meridian Mobile Barrier System. The items right here are what are included in the quote. It has Archer 1200 barriers, the deployment equipment, safety cable system, ADA cable protection, wayfinding package, and the graphics package. And as you can see here, here's what the Meridian Mobile Barriers will look like with our logos on it. Unfortunately, we did not go with the green, Nancy, so you're fine. We're gonna go with the white. No need to worry, okay?
You live to see another day, sir.
No need to worry. And here's the Meridian quote breakdown. As you can see, the total cost is a total of $189,225.10 to purchase a quantity of 21 Meridian mobile barriers, as well as their accessories, components, and equipment. For the fiscal impact, a portion of the funding is included in the fiscal year 26 and fiscal year 27 biannual budget, with a total program budget of $94,612.55. And you can see on the table below a breakdown of the funding sources, the fiscal year, and their respective funding amounts. Fiscal impact continued. Staff is proposing that the Environmental Conservation Fund provide a 100% matching contribution of the program budget funds as a budget adjustment for fiscal year 26 and fiscal year 27 in the total amount of $94,612.55. And again, as you can see on the table below, is a breakdown of the funding source, the fiscal year, and their respective funding amounts. And this funding source is appropriate because the mobile barriers support the operational needs of city environmental programs and events, thereby establishing a nexus in the use of environmental conservation funds. Strategic plan goal, goal E of safety, the objective of keeping Cathedral City safe for all who live, work, visit, and play in our community. And based on the quote provided, the anticipated improvements to operational efficiency and public safety and the direction provided by City Council during the April 22nd, 2026 study session meeting, staff recommends that the City Council approve the purchase of 21 Meridian Archer 1200 mobile barriers, including all associated accessories, components, and related equipment necessary for deployment and operation at a total cost of $189,225.10. A budget adjustment utilizing Environmental Conservation Fund 246 for fiscal year 26 and fiscal year 27 in the total amount of $94,612.55, and authorize the city manager to execute all documents necessary to complete the purchase. Thank you, and that concludes my presentation. Back to you, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Luis. All right, council, any questions or comments on this item?
I'm just happy to know they're not green.
All right, I don't see any speaker cards.
We have none, Mayor.
All right, anyone in the public that wish to speak to this item? Do we have any public left? Well, staff. All right, we'll turn it back to council for questions, comments, or a motion.
I move to approve. I think this is wonderful.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Lamb and a second by Councilmember Gordon. Please vote. Councilmember Gordon, do you see the option?
Yep.
And motion carries, all ayes.
Thank you so much. And of course, we want to thank, as the city manager did, Public Works staff for getting this back to us so quickly and for their flexibility in the design and for a good staff report explaining where all the funding comes from, because you know how much the mayor likes that. Thank you.
That's good.
All right, we're going to move on to item 5B, which is the award of construction contract, construction engineering support services agreement for the Highway Safety Improvement Program, also known as HSIP, Cycle 11A, for 18 unsignalized intersection upgrades. And I'll turn it over to the city manager to do introductions.
Thank you, Mayor. And for this item, I'll introduce Armando Baldazoni, the city's city engineer, and to present this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council. Tonight, staff is recommending approval to award the construction contract and construction engineering support services agreement for the Highway Safety Improvement Program, Cycle 11A project, which include safety improvements at 18 unsignalized intersections throughout the city. Jumping into the background of this project, in June of 2021, the city completed the local road safety plan, which identified roadway safety priorities and recommended countermeasures throughout the city. Based on that plan, the city submitted 4 HSIP highway safety improvement applications during the call for projects. The 4 applications were granted by the program, and later on, we have to redirect efforts or resources for the emergency response and recovery efforts due to the tropical storm Hillary, before resuming to the HSIP projects in 2024, when the City Council awarded a professional service agreement to Kimley Horn and Associates to complete the design of the project. The design of the project was completed in August of 2025, and Caltrans approved the funding allocation for construction in November of 2025. The project was first advertised for construction in December of 2025, and after opening the bids in January 2026, staff determined that the lower bids were not responsive, and also the construction costs were excessive with the funding allocated, so recommended the City Council to reject the bids. Later on, the project was then re-advertised in February 2026, and 2 bid proposals were received. The construction cost in these bid proposals exceeded the engineering estimate and the construction funding amount allocated by Caltrans, and therefore a cost change request was submitted for Caltrans for additional construction funding, and Caltrans approved this at an additional $300,000 for the construction in May of 2026. Getting into the project right now, the project includes safety improvement, roadway safety improvement at 18 unsignalized intersections identified in the local road safety plan, and the countermeasures that are intended to reduce collisions and improve pedestrian savings are listed in this slide, like add intersection lighting, install pedestrian crossing, and install upgrade pedestrian crossing and safety features. The proposed improvements include LED luminaires, reconstruction of ADA curb ramps, flashing stop signs, high visibility crosswalks, rectangular rapid flashing beacons, and advanced pavement markings and signs. Just to see the construction phase for this project, we are going to separate this presentation in 2 parts. The part 1 is going to be for the construction engineering support, and the second part is going to be for the construction of the project. For the construction engineering support, the scope of work of these services include construction management, labor compliance, inspection and material testing, and these services are included in the funds from the HSIP program and are there to ensure compliance with all state and federal requirements of project delivery under the HSIP program. The staff issued a request for qualification in September of 2025, and the evaluation for that request for proposals and qualification was done under the procurement process required by the federal and state-funded project. A panel with members from Public Works and Planning Department staff was evaluating the proposals. 4 proposals were received, and after the evaluation, NB5 received the highest overall rating from the evaluation panel, and then the second part of the procurement was to open the cost proposal, and the cost proposal from this company was within the funding allocated in the HSIP program. The second part, just the project construction. The second bid, the city advertised the project for construction bidding in February of 2026 through the Desert Sand Cathedral City website and Planet Plan Room. The bid was opened on February 17 of 2026. The city received 2 proposals, and LC Paving, after reviewing the proposals, LC Paving and Sealing Incorporated from Escondido, California, was the lowest responsive and responsible bidder in the amount of $1.47 million. Going through the fiscal impact, impact of the project, the HSIP grant balance is in a total of $1.4 million, which include the $300,000 that Caltrans provide to us on May of 2025, or allocate for the project in May 2025. The project is listed in the CIP Biennial Capital Improvement Program biennial budget. The construction contract cost is for a total amount of $1.56 million, which include the bid amount and the construction engineering services from MB5. Staff is recommended to a construction budget in the amount of $1.72 million that include the construction contract cost, a 10% contingency, and administrative support services from the on-call consultant on state and federal funding projects. The summary of the budget allocations and the funding sources, as shown in your report, are the staff is proposing to have the HSIP funds grants in the amount of $1.4 million and $312,000 in traffic safety funds for local match and additional project costs. These projects support the 5-year strategic plan, Goal B, community investment, and the staff recommendation, as shown in your report, is to award a construction contract to LC Paving and Sealing, to award a professional service agreement to MB5 for construction engineering, to approve a total construction budget in the amount of $1,716,196.82, including 10% contingency, on-call administrative support services, authorize the city manager to execute both contract documents, and authorize the city engineer to request bonds and insurance for the project and issue the notice to proceed. And that concludes my report. Back to you, Mayor.
All right, thank you so much, Armando, for that explanation. Thank you for all the work that's gone into it and explaining to us the process. We do appreciate it. It's kind of lengthy, but we do appreciate you explaining in the staff report and going over here today the process that you got to where you got, and for finding funding within the budget to meet the extra costs. All right, City Council, any questions or
I
comments?
just had one. I was trying to put speaker, but it didn't.
Am I on the wrong? Maybe I'm on no.
I don't know. Anyway, I just had one
Go ahead.
question. And thank you so much for your presentation. So on the final one, number 18, is Terrace and Cathedral Canyon. So when it talked about all the components of these individual 18 safety units, one talked about a LED flashing light and rapid flashing beacons. So as you're going up Cathedral Canyon, which is going south, on the east side is Desert Water Agency, which is just a lot that's fenced. And to the west of that is a vacant lot. But right across on the south side of Terrace are 3 homes. They're the whole row of homes, but there are 3 that would be impacted. Is this flashing light is only when there's a car that comes and it starts flashing? Is that how it is? Because otherwise it seemingly would impact those homes.
No, the stop sign will be flashing all the time. If it's going to impact them,
Right.
we can review that situation.
Okay, I was going to say, but even if it's flashing, that it will impact the homes down, going north on Cathedral Canyon.
We can look
Anyway,
if there is. We
okay.
can look if there is
Okay.
going to be an impact to the residents, and we
I'm
can
just thinking out loud that,
we can change the.
okay, well, we can see. Anyway, I don't know.
So
Thank you.
usually those stop sign flashing lights are not terribly bright, right? They're more like
Yeah. I just-
holiday lights, maybe, like. Oh,
That's what I was, okay,
no.
okay, thank you.
I didn't have that word.
All right.
Directional sensitive.
That's a good,
didn't have
concise
that,
answer
yeah.
there. All right, any other questions, comments? Any speakers?
I have none, Mayor.
Anyone in the audience wish to speak on this item? I don't see any. So I'll bring it back to council. I will just say that if you've gone around town, as most of us are very familiar, these are all quite dangerous areas that could use a little bit of attention. So I know that's why the grant was applied for many years ago, but thank you so much for doing all that was necessary to bring it so that we're actually going to have it happen and have it help protect the safety of our residents. So with that, do we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Lamb and a second by Councilmember Gordon. Please vote. And motion carries, all ayes.
All right, we're getting there, people. Skipping over C and D because they're already finished. Our next item is on the agenda is item 5E, the purchase of 7 Zolex Series Advanced Monitor Defibrillators. There you go, that's a good word, defibrillators for the fire department. Mr. City Manager.
So thank you, Mayor. And as Chief Contreras gets into this presentation, I know there was a question on the fiscal impact of this item, so I wanted to address that right away, and Chief Contreras can provide some additional details there. But the recommendation for this item is to authorize the city manager to execute all the required documents for the purchase of the 7 defibrillators. Some of the financial information in the staff report, it's estimated, that includes the taxes. It also includes the trade-in credits. So Chief Contreras will get into this a little bit more, but the fiscal impact would really be about plus or minus $4,000 to $6,000. But the recommendation in the packet is to authorize the city manager to execute those documents. So my request for council is to consider those numbers, the tax and as well the trade-in credits as estimates, and we will finalize that as we continue to work with the vendor.
I see. Is this a budget? Is this going to come out of a budget line, or is this going to require a budget amendment?
This will not require a budget amendment. This is out of the Equipment Replacement Fund.
All right, thank you.
And with that, Chief Contreras.
Thank you, Annie. Honorable Mayor and Council, it's my pleasure to bring this to you today. It's another advancement in as we continue to build our fire department. This is one of those mandatory unfunded mandates. Well, we're going to go through this. It is something that the county is requiring due to the latest technology that's out there. So what the recommendation tonight is have the city council approve the purchase of 7, and that's the reason 7 is that's 1 for each unit that we have out there, the 4 ambulances, the 2 engines, and the truck. So the Zoll X Series Advanced Monitor and Defibrillator, so it does both, and it authorizes the city manager to execute the purchase order. As I said, it's 7 monitors. It also comes with, in the package, a 5-year worry-free warranty, so they not only repair it at no cost, but they also give us a replacement one while that one is being repaired. This 5-year case review premium, one of the things that is happening really big in EMS is what we call CQI, Continuous Quality Improvement. And so what that requires is us to audit or go over every call that defibrillator is used on. That's what this technology does. And it is one of the reasons that the county has mandated that we buy this piece of equipment is because it not only talks to the hospital, when the county does their audit, it makes their job also easier.
So let me just clarify while you're there. So the county mandates you buy this particular
This
one.
particular
So there's
Zoll.
You
yep.
can't go out and compare other prices. They want this one.
No sole
I wasn't
source.
aware. So
It's a mandated sole source is what it is.
All right, thank you.
Our current monitors are at the end of their service life. We're at 7 years that we bought these. The latest ones that we bought with the Measure W and the ambulance, when we put that is a relatively new one. However, they are giving, as the city manager mentioned, we are getting a trade-in, and we're getting a higher trade-in for that one. And as you can imagine, the old monitors, to have 6 of the brand new monitors and 1 of the old ones, they would not be able to communicate together. So what this allows us to do is the technological advancements. I have a short video here that kind of shows you what this one does and why it does it better than the previous one. The patient care, it has more capabilities. Obviously, with it being new, we don't have to worry about it wearing out, or not wearing out, but having problems while it's being used. We are getting a trade-in, and that's really when I talked to the rep, that this quote was put together a few months ago, and so the quote is based on time, and that's why it did say estimate. What if by chance we didn't execute this by the June 30th deadline, then there would be an additional amount taken off of it, and that's why it was put as an estimate. As it says there, the quote expires June 30th, 2026. I can talk about all these different things. They probably don't mean a whole lot, so I'd rather show you. I have a short video that I'd like to prove or show you what each of those are.
The Zoll X Series monitor. It's an all-in-one cardiac monitor and defibrillator used in emergencies. It tracks things like heart rhythm, oxygen levels, blood pressure, and CO2. And it can also defibrillate or pace a patient if needed. What makes it important is how fast and portable it is. You get real-time information and treatment in one device. It's used in situations like cardiac arrest, breathing problems, and trauma, where quick decisions really matter. Overall, it's a key tool that helps providers monitor and treat critical patients efficiently. With the new X Series Advanced monitor, healthcare providers can view additional information not available in the older model. The X Series Advanced compared to the X Series has the following enhancements that make this new heart monitor significantly superior to previous models. First, enhanced quality assurance QA and quality improvement QI processes, including case review and RescueNet. Second, traumatic brain injury TBI dashboard that monitors trends in traumatic injuries. Third, real-time CPR and BVM assistance, providing compensation rates and tidal volume data. And last, remote viewing and telemedicine support, enabling off-site physicians to access patient data in real time.
And so what that basically, as you can imagine, if you were to buy a 7-year-old car and buy a new one, there's more technology and it can actually do more, it can communicate more. That's really the main ones they talked about. It allows us to take the information from this defibrillator in real time as we're doing CPR and transmit it to our local base hospital where our doctor is giving us that feedback. The current ones do not have that ability. It also, for the traumatic brain injury, it senses oxygen in the brain, and it does that all through the monitor with the ET tube. And then I mentioned earlier the CQI. So it allows the county and us, as we do our continuous quality improvement, to download that information, and then it processes it without the human factor potentially messing it up.
So you made that video yourself internally, right?
Yes, we did.
I was gonna say, I thought that was a manufacturer's video.
No,
And
that,
whoever did that voice work, I mean, I'm telling you, professional there. So
That's-
quite nice. And a picture is worth 1,000 words, so it's very good.
Thank you. We are getting cooperative pricing because the county has negotiated this deal. This is the best pricing we can get, and it's about $35,000 than the listed price. So we are piggybacking on the county contract, and it also, like I said, it comes with a service contract that goes with it. Again, as it ties to our strategic plan, to goal D, to having innovation. This makes sure that the citizens and the community are serviced with the best equipment that can be purchased out there for their well-being. So what we're asking tonight, as the city manager said, to approve the purchase of 7 Zoll X Series advanced monitors, defibrillators in the amount of $389,117.70, and to authorize the city manager to execute the purchase in reference quote Q133523 with a contingency for Measure B of 1%, Measure W 0.5% and use total tax up to $4,670.90. And I'll
All
take
right.
any questions.
And so you just read that, but that's not really what we're going to approve.
Yeah,
Because we're
no,
not going to
that-
approve that specific amount. We're going to approve the city manager as designated to execute all the required documents for the purchase of the equipment and the associated accessories. Because as was shared, that's really an estimate. And so you'll be working out final figures.
Absolutely,
Correct?
yes.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Just want to make clear. All right, and thank you so much for answering those fiscal questions and some of the stuff that maybe wasn't captured in the staff report that, that we like to see, so it's good. All right, council, let's see, any questions or comments?
I have a question.
Are there, go ahead. Councilmember Gordon.
The life cycle on these new ones is 5 years, 7 years?
They say 5 to 7, and my question to the manufacturer was, what comes up with 5 to 7, right? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And it comes down to if there's there hasn't been any huge advancements. And she said even till about 6 years, because for them, they realize they can't sell a new one every year. So when they feel the technology matches the demand, and in this case, the demand is being created by the county, okay, it's time to replace. But speaking to the seller, it's about 5 to 7, especially with the maintenance contracts. It is, these monitors, because they are battery operated, when we put them into our compartments and drive our engine around, they do have a tendency to overheat. So we do have to watch that more with the batteries than the monitor, but it is still exposed to heat.
But it's got essentially a 5-year warranty on it.
It is a 5-year warranty. That's what the service plan. Again, why 5 years? Because they know exactly when that monitor is going to start to cost them more because they're covering the cost, and that's why they sell it for 5 versus 6.
And do you anticipate the county will do this again in 5 years?
They do it with other things. I have no reason to expect they won't do it at some point again, yeah.
Thanks.
Questions? Any other questions or comments?
I do.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Hello, Chief. Good afternoon, or good evening. My question is, what is the trade-in value per device?
So the older, because we do have some that are right, I want to say we have 4 that are right at 7 years. Those are the ones that were pre the additional ambulance. And they said, what she said in talking to her, why, because we get about 5,000 to 7,000 for the newer ones, the Measure W ones. And those ones, a couple $1,000s. We're not getting a whole lot, but then they throw in here, we'll give you this for all of them to make it more desirable for us. But they kind of tell you what they're willing to give you.
Okay, just an enticement, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. To just enough to get you to buy it, but they don't want to give you too much and reduce their profit.
Okay. Now, in the past, I remember seeing a defibrillator that actually was self-pressing.
Yes. That's called an AED.
This one's very different. So you have 2 different ones.
Yes, sir. So the ones you may see around City Hall or you see out in public, those are called automatic external defibrillators. Those are ones you can take off the wall, you put the pads on it, you analyze, and the machine does the rest. It'll tell you, yes, shock, no, don't. This is a non-shockable rhythm, and that's it. That's the extent of the interaction. These monitors, not only will they decide or check your heart rhythm or lack thereof, it'll defibrillate. Once we intubate you, it will breathe for you, right? It'll tell the right amount of oxygen, because one of the side effects to a full arrest is we can overinflate the lungs, and when you overinflate them, like any balloon, if you put too much air in it, it'll pop. And so these manage the air that is put into the lungs. This one also monitors, if you saw where it said the traumatic injuries. So if you have a traumatic brain injury, there's a certain amount of oxygen that has to get to the brain. It manages all that. So one is more, needs more human interaction. The other one, the machine does all of it.
Okay. So the other ones that you're talking about are the ones that do everything. This one, it needs a little bit more of human interaction.
To interpret it, to hit depending on what the emergency is. If it's a traumatic brain injury, the other one wouldn't really do anything on that one, right? It's going to sense the heart rhythm, but the problem isn't the heart in that case. It's the brain. This one allows you to monitor and infuse the right amount of oxygen to deal with that emergency. So it has a wider amount of care that it can give.
So actually, what I think the Mayor Pro Tem is referring to is many of us went over to the fire department. This has been years ago.
Yes.
And there was a demonstration of a mechanism that once put on and everything, it actually did the
Oh, you're talking about the
compressions for
compression. So the thing that you put on, and it
Correct.
does the compression. These are two totally different
you. Okay,
things.
yeah,
No, okay.
yeah.
That's what I was
Thank you.
wondering. Okay.
Because I remembered seeing that too, so. All
Thank
right,
you.
any other questions?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, Councilmember Ross.
So you said that it could tell, how does it tell if you have a brain injury? Or do you tell the machine, this patient has a brain injury?
So you have to, again, you see that computer screen, you just, it's a button, you hit it, it then senses what you're giving it. So one of the things for the brain injury, you put the ET tube down, and then from there you put a sensor onto the tube, and then based on that and a brain injury, right, that's the input, it will monitor that and tell you need to get, because one of the treatments for traumatic brain injury is hyperventilation. So putting higher amounts of oxygen to oxygenate the blood. So based on what your input is, and you have to assume that there is some traumatic brain injury, or there's a reason the paramedic has said, yes, this person has a traumatic brain injury. Then based on that, you put that input into the monitor, and then the sensor will then guide you through.
I find this very interesting. Did you not say earlier that too much oxygen to the brain in a traumatic brain injury also was a negative thing? So how does it know? How does it know when you've got a traumatic brain injury, what's too much, when to stop, when to go? It's just a machine.
Based on the sense, so there's, if you have the ET tube that's sticking out here, there's a sensor right here. You take that, the cable comes off the monitor and goes onto this sensor. So depending on how much you are bagging that person using the bag valve mask, that will determine it. And so if it senses the pressure, so if you do a heavy squeeze and it pushes too much in there, it will sense, and it will, on that screen, it will tell you a combination of not only ventilation, but compressions, and are you meeting that right level?
So what you're saying is it's magic, right?
It's
It's just all magic.
Yes.
Kind of sounds like it. Yeah, no, that's super cool. I hope I never need it. Glad it's there.
Yes, you don't want to use that machine.
Yeah, but glad it's there.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Do we have any speakers on this?
We have none, Mayor.
Any members of the public out there that are hiding behind a chair who wish to come and speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll return it back to council for any few further questions or for a motion.
Move to approve.
And I am highly encouraged by this purchase. I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Gordon and a second by Councilmember Lamb.
Heartfelt
Please
second.
vote. And motion carries, all ayes.
Thank you. All right, moving right along, next item on our agenda, item 5F is approved Public Art Commission's funding recommendations for the fiscal year 2026-2027 Community Arts Grant Program. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Ann Ambrose is ready to go to close out our evening with this presentation.
Oh, no,
I'm
we
not
have-
closing it out, though.
We have another
Ryan gets to
item.
close it out.
I'm sorry, Ryan, forgot about you. One more.
But we are getting
Nearly.
closer.
He tried.
Thank you, Ann.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. So the item before you is the Community Arts Grant that is administered by the Public Arts Commission. So by way of background, in 24-25, the City Council approved a grant program to fund different art initiatives in the city. And in doing so, the council approved a budget of $20,000 for this program to be used annually. And so we've had allocations of that in 24-25, 25-26, and now have the funding proposals for 26-27. That application process was opened, and the grant due date was Friday, April 24th, and the city received 10 applications for review. And on May 11th, the Public Arts Commission held a special meeting to review their applications and to select applications to recommend to the council for approval. The Public Arts Commission's practice has been to meet as a full body to review the applications. So these are the 10 applicants, either individuals or agencies. That's where I forgot to make a little edit. And these are the applications that are recommended to be awarded. So the Cathedral City Senior Center, Palm Springs Gay Men's Chorus, the Boys and Girls Club, Coachella Acapella, Denise Didi Ondishko, and that is it. Oh, I'm sorry, and Terry Hastings for a total of $20,000. And it's staff's recommendation for the City Council to receive the Public Arts Commission's recommendations and to award these 6 recipients the asked for grant amount for the 26-27 grant period.
Thank you so much for that presentation. All right, Council, any questions or comments? I know we all wish that there was enough funding that we could fund everything, but I appreciate it. I also appreciated the Arts Commission seems to have stuck with being able to actually funding events that then with the full funding so they could actually do the events instead of spreading it out where they wouldn't be able to actually do the events. So.
Being that our grant program is so small and the maximum amount is $5,000, they really have been, that is a priority of them as they've reviewed them, is to try to award what has been requested. And in this case, all of the grants that were being proposed for award were for the full amount, with the exception of the Gay Men's Chorus, which was just a few $100s less than what
They may have to cut out a couple of pairs of boogie shoes.
There we go.
There you go. All right. Are there any speaker cards on this item?
We have none, Mayor.
Any public comments? Seeing none, I'll return it back to the council for any further questions, comments, or a vote.
Move to approve.
Second?
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Gutierrez and a second by Councilmember Ross. Please vote. And motion carries, all ayes.
Thank you so much. All right, the next item on our agenda, we're going to go back in time, all the way back to our study session. And here's study session item 2C, the Springs 2026. Oh, I didn't write down the whole thing. 2026 Special Events Season Recap. This is always fun.
Yes.
You have photos?
I do.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is where our Nielsen ratings take a huge spike. No, I'm just kidding. Appreciate Mayor Pro Tem, City Council. Always great. And Mayor Gregory said this multiple times. It's good when you can end on some good news for the evening. And so we have plenty of that for the spring events recap. Certainly our busiest spring events season that we've had in our department. So Yoga in the Amphitheater, wanted to thank our Parks and Community Events Commission. We just recently commemorated their 5th anniversary of this wonderful program. I think what really stands out is not just the yoga program itself, but how many cross-promotional opportunities that this program allows for Tastes and Sounds in the evening, the festival, the arts we were able to promote, and the synergy that it builds as a catalyst for this amphitheater venue. It's also great to be able to provide free yoga classes to our community, and the attendance just continues to get bigger and bigger each year. So really grateful for that. It ran this year from January through March 31st, and continues to be on a trajectory of growth that we're really excited about. Sinfonica de Minoria, which was a free day of music and cultural festival that was presented by the Palm Springs Friends of Philharmonic at the Community Amphitheater. And that was also produced in part by Hawker Productions, who's worked with us on State of the City recently. That was Sunday, January 25th. You can see Lee Mills, the conductor of the Palm Springs Friends of Philharmonic, with Mayor Gregory there. And the opening remarks was really nice. And then a lovely orchestra, the renowned Sinfonica de Minoria Orchestra from Mexico City, really terrific. And I think you saw this as a video segment within State of the City, how many opportunities that our high school students got access to as part of this program, which was really cool. Our Cathedral City High School Band and Ballet Folklorico groups both performed at this event, and it was a really great event that we would love to bring back as an annual contribution on the educational side. So we'll stay tuned and we'll see if we get another proposal from Palm Springs Philharmonic. Tastes and Sounds of Cathedral City ran from February 10th to April 14th. That was an extension for a makeup date for the Rancho Mirage High School Band, and I'm glad we were able to accommodate that. The Dreamboats broke their own record in 2026, almost to the day, a year later. 2,200 attendees, topping a little over 2,000 in 2025. Our spring lineup also included Radio Ready, our LGBT Plus Days Drag Race, Leanna and the Free Agents, Outlaw Mariachi, which we're going to give them a do-over. That was a 102 day in March that I think Councilmember Gordon was there. A really talented band. That one was just a little toasty, so we'll find an opportunity to give them a chance to perform here in Cathedral City again, I'm sure. Giselle Wu and the Night Owls, one of our hometown favorites and a success story, Cathedral City High School grad. Record attendance once again in 2026. This continues to be kind of that Hollywood Bowl model, bring your own lawn chair, BYOB. It's all been great. I appreciate the support of our Cathedral City Police Department to make sure that BYOB policy stays fine-tuned and that we're always keeping an eye on ways we can make the experience safe for everybody involved. I want to thank GD Magazine, Dinner with Patsy, Sunshine Cafe, Hampton Inn, and Cathedral City also did offer some discount codes for rooms for Tastes and Sounds this year as well, which we're very appreciative. Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic. It was Mayor Gregory this year throwing out the first pitch. And you can see our Cathedral City team with all the mayor and council in attendance. This is a great event, 33,000 plus. To have this type of tourism impact in Cathedral City is really terrific. And our Parks and Community Events Commission handing out local menus of some of our restaurants in town. This is a great way to spread the word and to bring in tax revenue for our city. We really appreciate the Mary Nutter group. We're actually having monthly meetings with them to plan for an even bigger and better event for not only this year but beyond. And really excited and appreciate the Environmental Fund, Deanna Pressgrove, the work that she does to have branded swag bags for all the teams to have. I think it's a really great way to celebrate Cathedral City and this venue. Cathedral City LGBT Plus Days. It's a continued theme of record-breaking attendance. We had over 12,000 attendees. The Saturday all-day festival component really added a lot. I think we've always struggled to find the Friday and Saturday to match that energy of the Sunday bed races. Michael and Ernie Westman of Montage Events did a terrific job producing the event this year. Presented once again by Agua Caliente Casinos. That's the third consecutive year that they've been our presenting sponsor. We're appreciative of that. The theme was community strong. The Sunday bed race continued to be as popular as ever, 6,000 plus spectators. But as you can see, the crowd there for David Archuleta was really special. It was unreal, and his voice was incredible. And sorry for the police department. The fire department is featured again as the winning team for our bed race. We do have a lot of fun, exciting things planned for National Pride Month in June. As Mayor mentioned, we'll be doing a flag raising on June 2nd. We'll also be showcasing our new plaque that was contributed by Danny Lee, who's a commissioner with the city, to commemorate all the bed race winners, which is 90% fire and EMS, but there were a couple College of the Desert and I think Holy Rollers the first year. So we'll have a great way to commemorate that for National Pride Month coming up in a week. Our inaugural Cathedral City Festival of the Arts is a huge success. Ann Ambrose, who's our staff liaison for the Public Arts Commission. You can see Craig Liebelt there from the commission as well. Don Stouter, Rick Travis, everybody all involved. Cara Robinson. It was a really great event. We were incredible turnout, and I think a way to showcase our artists. You know, this was, I think, the first year, and Mayor alluded to it a little bit, where we had a fully functional festival that was properly funded, that was nuanced, that we had a 10-month planning period with the commissioners to do this right. It was a real success story. We had jazz and blues music from Grammy-nominated Eve Evans as well, but 750 attendees for an inaugural event. We were pretty happy about that, and we've already met with the Public Arts Commission to debrief about ways we can kind of enhance, maybe shrink the time just a little bit. And so, but we think that this has a lot of legs, and I think our art community, as we celebrate where art lives, I think they were incredibly appreciative of the opportunity to sell some art. So. Esperanza Rising, which is a partnership with Desert Recreation District, but I think I saw many of you at the May event right before State of the City. It was incredible attendance, really just vibrant to see our community there celebrated in the Dream Homes neighborhood. $98,000 Cathedral California Arts, in Parks grant, which we were one of just 30 communities that were selected statewide from 200 plus applicants. So this will all culminate eventually into a mural on the Parks restroom building facing the CB Link. But incredible cultural performances, folklorico groups, interactive art activities, food trucks. This really is a great representation of this park and this venue as a catalyst for the Dream Homes neighborhood. Taste of Jalisco Festival, which we just recently celebrated. You can see our mayor and council there with the flag raising ceremony that we had. And we're still waiting on final attendance numbers for 2026. Looks like Friday was a strong performer. We had struggled a little bit with Friday night components, but this was the 10th anniversary of this event, celebrating our sister city relationship with Tequila Jalisco, Mexico. The Lucha Libre was clearly the standout of the headliners. That was our best crowd that we had, and it was a lot of fun. I think Mayor Pro Tem's already alluded to it. We had one of the performers got really close to your table, and actually you were almost part of the action yourself, Mayor Pro Tem. So the tequila tasting competition was also a highlight. And then I think what we did really well this year that I'd like to continue to enhance is the culinary experience, getting more of our local restaurateurs involved. That's Brent Miller over at Luchador Brewing. It was cool to see his guacamole demonstration, and we had really good turnout for those, finding ways to expand, and it was the biggest carnival we've had from a footprint standpoint. State of the City, and this is, we haven't always included this one in this presentation, but it is more of a city-produced event now, and I really appreciate the work of Hawker Productions and Jeff Hawker, the Doubletree, which has been a great venue for us. Cathedral City Takes Flight, Mayor Gregory obviously giving the address with all of the spotlight videos by the City Council, which you did a terrific job. I appreciate your time with that one. We've really tried to enhance the video production and the quality each year, and I thought this year really stood out. If anybody is looking for those and hasn't been able to watch, they are available on a YouTube playlist at our Discover Cathedral City YouTube channel. And we were lucky to have Patrick Evans as our MC. He's obviously KSQ's chief meteorologist, but he's a Cathedral City resident and a commissioner as well. So really excited about the momentum as we continue to work with Hawker Productions for State of the City. And then I didn't get it into this presentation, but I did want to commemorate the Perez Art District event that just took place this past weekend. We had a really successful turnout, particularly Friday night, music, food trucks. The Perez Art District is really thriving, and we're excited to be able to support them through our Public Arts Commission for that event. The Where Art Lives celebration was a huge success. So we'll continue to keep the momentum going, and we'll answer any questions that you have.
Thanks so much, Ryan. A great series, but it's great when you highlight them just like that. We can all see them again and relive the memories. Do we have any questions or comments from council?
I just have a couple of comments.
Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Now, the Taste of Jalisco on Friday, it was a little slow. Are notes being taken and see what kind of changes we can make, adjustments to actually improve that?
So Friday night was actually up from the last 2 years. So we did get bar receipts and food vendor reports each night. We also have digital reporting through ticket entry and attendance. So I'm waiting for that full report from SoundSkills, but we do get detailed numbers from them on attendance. Our security also helps with their clicker, but we've really worked to enhance our digital engagement as far as figuring out the footprint. I do think Taste of Jalisco, like a lot of other events, it's been around 10 years. I think there's ways we can kind of fine tune it. I think we need to lean a little bit more into the culinary aspect, a little bit more into the Jalisco connection. So we're already in dialogue underway to try to make that an even better 11th annual event and kind of find ways to, I think the feedback we got from that one is maybe a little bit more affordability. The carnival was a little expensive. So we've relayed some of that feedback already to Steve Clayton and SoundSkills. And I think we have a lot of room for growth and improvement there. So
I also heard a little bit of a affordability factor for the food.
Yeah, food trucks have certainly gotten expensive, absolutely.
Now, do you know also the amount of participation from Cathedral City residents?
We certainly are looking for that percentage breakdown. So what SoundSkills will give me soon, and I'm happy to share this with council when we get it, is a report of the percentage of where residents come from. Like LGBT plus days, we were really excited to see how many we got from San Diego this year and from Los Angeles, and looking into some of our drive markets. We work with Visigrator Palm Springs. They give us billboard placement as part of an in-kind sponsorship for the events to be able to promote to those drive markets. So I'm happy to get that number for you and see kind of where we break down as far as the residency.
Oh, please do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Councilmember Gordon.
I just want to commend you again for a you know, when you see it all together like that, it really sort of reminds you why you were exhausted all spring. And I'm sure you were the most exhausted of all of us. These events were phenomenal. They are making Cathedral City stand out and be an exemplar. I don't think, you know, the other cities have events, but I feel like the rapid pace of the things that we did in this city this spring really set a bar, and it continues to, you know, bring in business, bring in people from outside of the valley, and show off our city in a variety of ways that are diverse, that are interesting, that are largely, you know, at least a component of which are free for our community. And I think that is one of the most special things about Cathedral City. So thank you for all of the work that you and the teams have done on this. It's phenomenal, and I can't wait to see what comes up next.
Thank you, Councilmember. Really appreciate the words. Thank you.
Councilmember Ross.
Thank you so much. But each year can't be, are we going to kill Ryan this year?
Well, it's all for the love of Cathedral City.
Even though in the back of our little heads, we say, what new thing is he going to come up with?
We did not include third-party events in this presentation, but Councilmember Gordon, who I know has championed this event, reminded me the Soul Springs Festival as a third-party event. Now we're having better event producers come in, rent the venue, which is what we're obviously trying to do with the amphitheater. 1,800 attendees is a third-party event. It was really special to see, and conversations are underway about how we can continue to work with Derek Pipkin and that group. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Anyone else? I do see a, oh, go ahead.
I still can't get it, my name to be up there. Okay, I just wanted to say thank you for everything that you do, because, you know, we've been here since you started, and, you know, your energy and your enthusiasm and your vision, especially bringing Tastes and Sounds and allowing this, us to click and succeed, has been monumental. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? I do see we have a speaker card, so I'll call Sunshine Herrera.
She's no longer in attendance, Mayor.
Thank you so much. Do we have anyone else in the public that would like to speak? Seeing none, we turn it back to council. Any other questions or discussions? Then we'll move on. Thank you so much, Ryan, for that presentation, for all the work that you and your team do. All right, the next item is item 6, discussion on future agenda items. Are there any future agenda items council would like to discuss? All right, seeing none, we don't have any closed sessions, so for the good of the cause, we will adjourn. And remember, our next meeting is in June 10th. Thank you so much.